All right, I was finished with videos for the night, but I want to answer back to some comments that Calen Cowherd had to say about Clemson program and Florida State and Miami programs being better throughout history. Okay, yes and no. Well, Florida State has not been playing football as long as Clemson has. Clemson, before we had this great run that we have now for the '81 championship team. Clemson was going to Cotton Bowls, Sugar Bowls, and Orange Bowls. Don't know how they made their selections back then, but they were going to those games. That's why Clemson, Boston College played one of the very first Cotton Bowls. Clemson played uh, uh, LSU in the Sugar Bowl. Uh, Clemson uh, played Colorado, Miami, and the Orange Bowl before the 1981. So Clemson has had a good football history. Now, I would like to say this on trying to make myself clear. Miami has 5 national championships. Miami has all these All Americans, all this other stuff. Clemson and Miami and Florida State were pretty much not good until about maybe 1976, 1980s, 1990s. Clemson in the 80s took off just like those other programs did. Clemson wasn't only won one national championship, but Florida State didn't win their first national championship until 1991. Uh, Miami won what 3 in the '80s, and I think you can argue that two of them kind of suspect. The one they beat Nebraska for, and Nebraska would have just hit the extra point and tied the game. They would have won a national championship because Texas lost earlier that day. Uh, Auburn probably could claim that championship in I was '84. So and there are so many other. I can't remember the years that Miami won their national championships, but there are so many more outside of '01 and maybe another one that you can argue Miami shouldn't have won. Florida State has won 3 national championships: '91, I think '99, and I think he was like maybe 2013, somewhere around there with Jameis Winston. They won another one. I would say, they had a pretty good run. Nobody has had players like Miami go from college to pro and had that success rate. They were good in college and they were good in the pros. I'm not taking that away from Miami. But right now, Miami ain't doing nothing. And I know people say, well, they got King, they got all these other people. Miami program is irrelevant right now. Now I admit that people tune in to see if Miami's gonna be good or not. Because Miami, USC, Southern Cal, people want to see them be good because they're in big markets and they want to live the yesteryear with those two teams for some reason. It is what it is. So I would give Miami the nod in some areas. But right now, they're irrelevant. Clemson can get the 4 championships this year. They could technically get the 6 this year, but Clemson's a big favorite. Um, and Miami would have to play Clemson in the ACC championship to get there if they got that far because Carolina's pretty good. All right, Florida State. Yes, Florida State Only started playing football in 1947. It was all girls college before that, somewhere around there. They have 20 wins versus Clemson. Clemson has 13. Clemson's won five straight from what? For about a long time. Florida State beat Clemson like 11 straight years or something like that. So Florida State has it. But I will bring this up. Let's go look at quarterback. Steve Fuller and Deshaun Watson has had successful pro careers. Name me one Florida State quarterback that had a great career. Deshaun Watson not finished. People call Jameis Winston a bust, which I like Jameis Winston. Just throw too many INTs. Uh, Running back. Slight edge to them because of work done. And, okay. Offensive line. I can't really name no good offensive linemen that came out of Clemson, to be honest with you. I think they had Walter Jones, great player with Seattle. I think he came out of what's called it. Okay, so you go to those. Let's go to defensive tackle. Clemson probably has had better defensive tackles in Florida State or translate to the pros. Michael Dean Perry, Trevor Price, Shaq Lawson. Tell me one defensive player that came out of Florida State. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to receiver. Yeah, I know they had Penis Warwick and Lavarius Coles, but they ain't do jack in the pros. If you look at Clemson receivers compared to Florida State receivers, Clemson receivers had a big advantage over them. So, what's that? Quarterbacks and receivers, 1 and 2. Defensive line, 3. Linebacker. I would even give that either a tie or give it to Clemson. Defensive backs and the pros to the college. Okay, Deion Sanders. Who else you got from Florida State that had a great pro career? So my point is that I would say Clemson's just as good as Florida State history. According to Calen Cowherd, um, Florida State has had a better history, but um, I would say nah. I mean, yeah, we saw Florida State bring the fast break offense with Charlie Ward into the what's it call it, them red shirt and quarterbacks development for the next year. But Clemson probably is just as good as Florida State, if not better. Only position I can see really where they had a bigger edge than Clemson and developing player is Walter Jones at linebacker. So, I just want to bring that up because I think Clemson's program compared to those two schools, you can say that they're equal. Since Florida State joined the ACC, they probably have more championships, ACC championships, than Clemson has. Since Florida State joined, but overall Clemson has more, but Clemson been in the league longer. But Clemson, hey, for the next 2 or 3 years, look like they're the class of the ACC outside of Carolina sticking their heads up over there. So, we're going to see how that go. But all right, y'all, this is the last video for the night. I'm going to sleep.